What is happening, y'all? My name is FightinCowboy, and today we're going to be talking about PvP in Elden Ring. Now, if you are a newcomer to the Souls franchise, PvP may still be something that you're unfamiliar with. You may have avoided it up until now, just not being sure, how it's going to be, going up against players that have obviously done something like this before. But when it really gets down to it, PvP is easily one of the most fun aspects of Elden Ring and the Souls franchise in general. It really brings something that a lot of other action RPGs just don't have. The idea of taking your character and all these powerful weapons and skills and then facing off against others who have done the same. And it really does create a unique experience that's hard to really replicate outside of these games. So today we're going to be talking about PvP. We're going to be going into invasions and duels and the Colosseum. We'll talk a little bit about the meta and connectivity to other players. And all in all, hopefully after watching this video, y'all will go on out there and try it out yourselves. So to start, let's talk about the meta level and connectivity inside the game. For those that are unaware, there is connectivity between you and other players that is based upon your rune level as well as the upgrade level of your weapon. And what this does is it makes sure that when you are connecting for PvP and trying to find other players to play against, you're not over-leveled and you're under leveled. So in general, the community has something that's called a meta level. It's just kind of a level that players try to stick towards to make sure that we can find each other and always have people to play with. And this ranges from roughly 125 to 150, so you have a little bit of wiggle room depending on if you want to fit a little bit more into your build. But I think it's important to note that this is not a hard stop, and especially with invasions, you will find players ranging all the way from level 10 all the way up to 300 and beyond. There really is no one level that you're forced to be at, and when people talk about a meta level in the game, it's more just kind of a community agreed upon spot so we can find each other more frequently, not a hard rule. Now, while we're talking about connectivity, it's also worth mentioning that if you decide to use a multiplayer password, you do ignore the rules of connectivity, meaning a level 300 player could connect to a level 30 player with ease. But on the note of connectivity, let's talk about PvP, and in particular, let's talk about duels using the Duelist Furled Finger. Now, you can pick this item up quite early in the game. Just head on up north from the War Master's Shack, and right by the Limgrave Coliseum, you'll be able to find it lying on a body in front of the doors. Now, at this point, you can then go into the multiplayer menu and use the Duelist Furled Finger to put a red summon sign down on the ground, which you'll see me do in just a moment, and then any players who interact with that sign will summon you into their world for a one-on-one fight to the death. Now, while there are no enforced rules in these duels how there are in the Colosseum, it is commonly discouraged to use your red flask to heal in them, because the host will have double the amount of flasks as the duelist, giving them an unfair advantage. So because of that, flask healing is frowned upon. Now, while you can use the Duelist Furled Finger wherever you want, one of the most common locations is over here at the main Academy Gate Grace in the Lakes of Liurnia. This is a very popular spot for duelists simply because it is a large, flat, and round area. So if you don't want to do duels in the Colosseum, this is a decent spot to find other people to go up against. And once you get over here, you would either use your Fur-Crawling Finger remedy to find red signs on the ground, or alternatively, you would put down the sign yourself and wait for somebody to pick it on up. Now, before we move on to invasions, I briefly want to touch on co-op, as co-op is what opens you up to invasions. Now, for those unaware, when you have a Fur-Calling Finger remedy active, the first time you use it, it will then display any summon signs that are on the ground. Now, you'll find either gold signs, which are left by a Tarnished Furled Finger, or the red signs that are left by the Duelist Furled Finger. Players can also use the small red effigy or the small golden effigy to send their signs to a nearby summoning pool, which is this little object you see right here. Typically, you will find clusters of signs on the ground around these, giving you opportunities for either duels or for cooperative play. In addition to that, just to touch on some other things in the multiplayer menu, we have the blue cipher ring and the white cipher ring. These are both purchased from the Twin Husks Maiden over at Round Table Hold, and the white cipher ring in particular is intended for players that don't really feel comfortable with PvP. When you're doing co-op, you effectively flick a switch that opens you up to invasions. There's no way for you to just play with a friend and not have the potential of invasions happening. But by using the white cipher ring, you make it so that even though you and your friend may not be comfortable with PvP, if you do get invaded, this will send out a call for help and summon a blue phantom who will come on into the world to assist you. Alternatively, players have the option to put on the blue cipher ring themselves, and this will essentially make them a protector or a hunter who will then answer the calls of the white cipher rings and try to defend those hosts from reds. Just to show an example of this, in this clip here, I have gotten invaded by a red player. I also have the white safer ring active. Now, as you can see, while it took a second, now it says Hunter Elena has been summoned, and this signifies that a blue has now been summoned into this world to help me fight off this red invader. With the blue now arriving over to the fight, the tides have turned, and it is now a 2 versus 1, which will more than likely end poorly for the red. After vanquishing the invader, the blue receives a notification saying that the job is done, and at that point he'll return on over to his own world. Just to touch on some other stuff before we get to invasions, the Finger Severer can be used to send a summoned player back to their own world. It's important to note this is only going to work for Tarnished or for Hunters. You cannot use this to send an invader back, or alternatively, if you want to lure invaders in, you can use the Taunter's Tongue. And with this active, you can pull invaders into the game to fight, even if you are not engaging in co-op. Now, for invaders themselves, they have 2 different tools to choose from, either the Bloody Finger or the Recusant Finger. Both of these effectively serve the same purpose. Both of them are invasion fingers. As far as we can tell, there is no range difference or really any difference besides the fact that you invade as a Bloody Finger versus invading as a Recusant. But there are quests associated to obtaining each of these. So if you do want to try your own hound out at invading, I'd suggest looking up those, as there is a little bit to them, more than we can fit into the duration of this video. But on the note of invasions, invasions are definitely one of the more unique things about Elden Ring and the Souls games in general. And so to best showcase those, I have brought in our resident invasion expert, a long-standing member of the community, Peeve. So I have some footage from him. We're going to show you guys that alongside some of his commentary so you can get an idea of just how fun, or in some cases goofy, invasions can be.
Maybe that bush, yeah. Ooh. Turns out I was right here. Okay, Chad. Let's try this again. I don't recommend what you just did. Maybe next time. Maybe. Yeah. Yep. Right there. Yes. Guys, get away from the balcony. It is not safe. Don't go there either. I don't recommend that. No. Stay away from these ledges. Please. It's for your own safety. Come on, guys. Okay, let's go up and say hello.
Hey! Hey.
All right.
Hey.
Hey. Hey. I don't know what's happening. I don't think I have that gesture, guys. I can't do. This is the best I got. That's the best I can do. I'm sorry. Can I join your club? Come on, let's go. Look, I'll guide you. I'll escort you guys. Summon another cooperator. Fantastic. This can only go well. Hello.
Hey! Hey!
Same voice. Okay, now everybody against me, right? We hanging out on the couch? I want to jump on the couch. Let's fight on the couch. Or bed, or whatever you want to call it. You should stop doing that. Yeah, take a nap. Fine. Fine. Oh. Yeah? You think you got the shot from way over there? I don't know that you do, friend. Actually, quite the contrary. You guys have to come to me.
Hey!
You'll be fine. Just hop across the very sketchy branches. I'll wait here. Uh-huh. Hi. Yeah, I see you.
Hey!
Uh-huh. Come on. Come on. You can do it. There you go. Oh, is that hard?
Now, as you can see, invasions are quite a mixed bag, but maybe you want some more structured PvP, and that is where the newly added Colosseums come on into play. We have 3 Colosseums in the game right now: the Royal Colosseum in the capital, the Limgrave Colosseum, which is in Limgrave, and then the Caelid Colosseum over in Caelid. Now, briefly, just to talk about how to reach each of these, the Royal Colosseum is right here in the capital. All you really have to do to get on over here is just follow this path from the center of the capital. You will make your way up this platform as if you were heading on up to the Erdtree Sanctuary, but instead, right around here, you can veer on off and then climb your way on up into the Royal Colosseum. And you can do this both early or later in the game, so the state of the capital does not impact your ability to reach the Colosseum. Now, as for the Caelid Colosseum, this one is actually a little bit harder to reach because to access it, you have to go underground first. So, over from the Shifra Riverwell, you would make your way on over to the Below the Well Grace, and then right here is an elevator that you can take on up, and then you can follow this path all the way on up north until you reach the Caelid Colosseum, at which point you can then approach it and enter it similar to how we just did with the Royal one. The easiest to access, we actually already went to earlier in this video, and that is the Limgrave Colosseum, which is just directly north of the War Master's Shack, and you can get this one extremely early in the game. Now, one of the nice things about the Colosseum is after you have visited each venue once, you're then able to enter Colosseum combat right here from the Round Table Hold by interacting with the America statue. Looking at it, we have 3 different types listed up above: duel, combat ordeals, and spirit ashes allowed. To go into each of these, the dueling combat format is initially unlocked from the Royal Colosseum. In this format, there are no red flasks allowed and no mixed physics. However, blue flasks are allowed to help both replenish your FP for weapon arts and, of course, allow casters to function. This is a straight-up 1v1 battle to the death. Moving on from there, we have Combat Ordeal and United Combat Ordeal. Now, these are both unlocked from the Limgrave Colosseum, and these allow you free-for-all combat with the Combat Ordeal format or team-based combat with United Combat. In this case, it would be every man for himself, or with United Combat, 3v3, 2v2, or of course 1v1. Now, the last thing is the Spirit Ashes allowed, and this comes from the Caelid Colosseum, and this is going to follow the same rules as the Limgrave Colosseum, however, with the addition of Spirit Ashes also being allowed in the battle. So whether you want to have a makeshift pet battle with a friend, or you just want to have a giant every man for himself 6-person brawl with Spirit Ashes, either way, there is definitely a lot of flexibility in the Colosseum system. So we're going to take a look at a little bit of everything, just kind of show you how some matches go, and hopefully you enjoy it. He's got the sword. I can go through my shield. Oh man, and the shield finish. Ooh. If that lightning would have come out, it probably would have killed me right there. I'm just gonna back up. Oh, big hit there though. Oh! And the flaming strike takes the win. Oh! I think I got it. Oh god. Dragon Man's coming after me. Oh god. Oh. There we go. Rack up those eliminations. I saved you. Come on. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. 30 seconds left. 30 seconds left. Oh! Oh. Oh, cease combat. I died right at the end, but I got 8 eliminations. Let's see. Hey, let's go. Unga bunga. Oh man, they're in trouble. I'm about to learn. Hour of the Dragon Lord. The Dragon Lord goes undefeated. This is honestly like one of my dirtiest setups, because you have the oh no, no, no. Anyway, you have the Mimic casting Dragon Breath and you casting Dragon Breath, and oh boy, it gets rough. He is going to get absolutely decimated, like right there. Oh, and you're also paying attention to my teammate? That's not a smart play. Oh, man. Oh! I passed the vigor check. Oh, you got the magic off, but at what cost? Oh, God, I'm not paying attention. The sneaky whip. Yeah, that just made you weaker to lightning. Not the play. Not the play at all. He's also failing his vigor check. He definitely needs more health. Oh! Oh, what did he have up? He had up something that prevented it. Oh, no, I think it was just the end of combat. Well, I think we know who the supreme combatant is with this one. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. Thunder Thrusts is going to take it. So to close things on out, I'd like to say that hopefully after watching this, if you were a little hesitant on PvP, I hope that you decide to try it on out. Because whether you are dueling, invading, or jumping into the Coliseum, PvP is definitely a absolutely fantastic part of Elden Ring and Souls games in general. And, you know, I think this video was a fantastic showcase of the variety of builds you're going to come across. Anything that you can think up of in your mind, you can use it in that arena. And at the end of the day, as long as you're having fun, that is what counts. So thanks for tuning in. Hopefully this inspires some of you to go on out there and join the battle. And I'll see you out there in the Coliseum.